Welcome to the Pet Buzz, Chuck.
Oh, thanks very much for having me, Charlotte.
What can our dogs teach us about investing?
Well, the first thing that you got to recognize is that everybody wants to make things complicated. We want to make investing hard because, well, that way, if we're not good at it, we can at least blame it on how hard it is. But our dogs make things pretty simple and straightforward. And if you kind of take that approach to it, it'll work really well. And it's a lot of different things. But back in the 2000s, there was a book that was somewhat controversial because, people don't always like to be compared to their animals about, everything I needed to know about men, I learned from my dog, or everything I needed to know about women, I learned from my dog. You can learn everything you need to about investing from your dog just by kind of taking some of those behaviors and applying them and kind of treating every investment you come upon as if it's maybe coming upon an animal.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have
taught you these lessons.
I have a 13-year-old golden retriever. And I'll point out, if you Google lifespan of golden retrievers, it'll basically tell you 10 to 12 is what you get. So I have a 13-year-old golden retriever named Frio. And the funny side is, as he's aged, our lives have turned around, right? Like, I'm now the one who wakes him every day excited for the day. And I'm now the one who, when we go for a walk, he's like, hey, Chuck, you can go off leash and you can wander around and I'll be here when you get back. But although our roles have changed, it's still very much how we've always been. And that's part of it with your investments. That relationship with an investment changes as you get more money or you experience more success, or as you age and you get closer to retirement. But the investment is still the dog, and that basic relationship is always still the same.
What do you mean when you write, don't change your life for your investment?
Things along the lines of, these days where people are going, oh, I can get on Robinhood and I can do whatever. If you do not look at your investments hour by hour or minute by minute, and somebody comes and goes, hey, on my phone, I'm now trading stocks. Okay, but they're turning their lives inside out to be able to do it. Because if they miss something, the market on Monday of this week was so crazy. It was down 5% and then it came back and popped back up. If you were trading minute by minute, that'd be really hard. So you don't want to get a breed that makes you totally change your life. If you're picking a dog, you also don't want to get an investment that makes you do something different. Once upon a time in my life, at one time, I did a short sale, which is betting against the stock. You're basically saying, I'm betting that this stock is going to go down. And every minute I was doing that, I was nervous. And I'm not a nervous guy. That's not me. And you can't ever allow an investment to change your life any more than you want to go, hey, this is the life I lead. I'm not very active. I'm not very whatever, but I'll get a dog that requires me to change everything. That's not necessarily a good mix. That's what you want to avoid.
Short leash is just the thing. So talk to us about that concept.
When you're training a dog, you want to try to make it that it gets some freedom on the one hand, but that you're not giving it too much leash on the other. Well, the same goes for your investments, whether it's I'm adding something that's maybe a little high risk. How do I feel about it? How do I know that I've got control of it? You don't necessarily say, oh, I've decided I want to add Bitcoin and cryptocurrency to my portfolio, which has become a much more common thing, but it's still that the average investor doesn't quite understand it all that well and go, oh, let me take my retirement nest egg and do this with it. You want to say, let me dip my toe in, let me experience some of this, let me keep a tighter control, at least on certain things, until I know that I'm more trusting. And it's the same thing with your dog. I mean, you don't give your dog too much leash and then complain that like, wow, my dog, was out of control today. Nope. Take the control, keep the control. You and the animal will be happier.
Next concept that you write about is dogs, like investments, don't always mix and play well together. Talk a little bit about that, because I thought that was really interesting. My first thought was the dog park.
I'll simply point out, I have as I said, my dog Frio, a lovely, wonderfully behaved golden retriever. And he's an old guy right now. And he's never had a problem with anybody except one dog who lives around the corner up there. And that dog's now also an old guy. And they still don't get along. It's just always been something. Well, look, you're building an investment portfolio and everything needs to be able to function together. And if you wind up saying, oh, I'm going to go buy this mutual fund and that other mutual fund, and they have way too much of the same things, right? So you're not diversifying your portfolio. You're just kind of going, hey, this is doing well and this is doing well. Well, they're both doing well, perhaps because they have the exact same stuff in them. Now you have a portfolio that if times get tough, maybe you're going to wind up getting hit a lot more. You need to understand how the things in your investment portfolio play together the same way you need to know, like, hey, if I let my dog into this play group, is there that one dog that's going to be a problem? You need to know how they mix together because you don't want to find out at the wrong time. Like, oh, wait, hold it. All of these dogs are alphas. And now there's, fresh meat in the middle and they're all fighting.
Can you explain, if you fear the bark, fear the dog?
It's a basic lesson that as much as I might, anytime I see a dog, want to go up to it or whatever, you need to be somewhat wary of the signals that an animal is sending you and how you're responding to it. So it's entirely possible that your neighbor is buying and trading Bitcoin or what have you. But if that's not to your risk tolerance, if you're going, I don't think I can stand that volatility, you don't do it because they do it. You don't do it because someone else, like, you should never make an assumption that, oh, that dog would be great with me. We all know that there are certain breeds that appeal to us and certain ones that don't. And the same goes for investments. And look, as an investor, you need to make yourself uncomfortable. You need to be able to say, yes, I'm going to buy some things that maybe I'm not the most comfortable with, but they diversify my portfolio and they help me ride out and make money in all market conditions. But you don't have to go crazy towards it. Like, look, we live in a world where all you can hear people talking about is crypto, super volatile. I won't tell you that you shouldn't own it. I will tell you that you shouldn't own it if it's not right for you. And that's that thing. Crypto, well, it has a lot of bark to it. It has an occasional bite to it. You don't like it, don't go there. You can make a perfectly good portfolio without it. The same way you can find a dog that is right for you, even though in my case, it's my golden retriever. But when I was a boy, I was mauled by a neighbor's dog. I can tell you what kind of dog I'm not going to get. It's that kind.
Okay, I have one more question. Is it Shiba coin or dog coin? Which do you prefer, Chuck?
I prefer neither of them. Dogecoin is what they call it technically.
Okay.
And you should understand that Dogecoin was created as a joke, okay? I'm not sure that it's not still a joke. Look, all those cryptocurrencies, let me just point out, when Bitcoin was first becoming popular, the most important Bitcoin exchange, it doesn't exist anymore because it imploded and collapsed, was a website that was created for the trading of Magic the Gathering cards. If I told you that was what you were investing in, you'd go, this is nuts. Shiba coin was the legitimate one. Dogecoin was made as a joke after that. By the way, there's 100 or 1,000 others that have dog related or animal related. There's Duck coin. Pick your favorite animal. There's a cryptocurrency that's got it in its name that's probably valueless. So stick to the ones, if you're going to do that, that are, maybe the breeds that are a little more proven and tested, where you're going to be a little more likely to find Kennel Club standards, as it were. You don't need to go out there and jump in all of that.
Well, the funny thing is that so many people, based on these canine related cryptocurrencies, are actually getting the dogs to match the currency. I mean, Shiba Inu's are exploding. So many people want them, especially in Asia. I mean, it is an Asian breed dog, but so many people have it. And then Elon Musk doesn't help because he's always talking about Shiba coin, right?
I'm just going to point out that this is a genuine fake Bitcoin. How do I know that it is a fake Bitcoin? Because I can hold it, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't understand that basic, that like, hey, we show it to you and it's a coin with a dog on it, it's not a real thing. You're not investing in this.
Right.
You can't spend this. So, we can love our dogs. Please don't let that be, and I'm sure there's feline coins and a bunch of others. It's all fine if you want to do the crypto thing. Do not let your love of animals be what sways you. Take the attitude you have with your animals, bring it to your dogs, bring it to your investments. That's great. But don't let be swayed into, ooh, it's a pretty dog on a nice coin. Let me go buy that.
Well, Chuck, thank you so much for joining me today. Before you go, give us your website so that people can learn more about you, your dog, Frio, and your column in your radio show and podcast.
moneylifeshow.com, moneylifeshow.com, all put together. And if folks go to where it says Chuck's column, they will find my most recent column, picture of Frio right there. When they click on it, is basically saying everything you want to learn about investing, you can learn from your dog.
Thanks for viewing our content on Pet Buzz Plus.